everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer and today we are going to be looking at the Dior Velvet Quint in Coral Paisley. Not exactly sure why they called it Coral Paisley, but we're going to take an in-depth look at it. We're going to do an eye look with it, and I'm going to show you all of the quints over the last 2+ years that look similar to this quint. So if you're interested in seeing that, just stay tuned. Hey everyone, so today we're gonna focus on the Dior Velvet Quint Coral Paisley, and this is what it looks like. I've identified a number of Dior quints over the 2+ last years that have a similar color story. It is actually not that different from Nude Dentelle. Nude Dentelle I did a video on as well, and Nude Dentelle is a little more warm leaning with some cool shades in it. This one is definitely warm leaning and doesn't have any cool shades in it. Well, one cool shade, but anyway, take a look at the Nude Dentelle video and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's not a neutral quint. It's, in my opinion, it's a warm leaning quint that has the ability to look cool. I did 2 different eye looks with it so you can check it out. But it doesn't look that different than the Coral Paisley. The difference is the Coral Paisley has a bright corally orange shade in it, which I will show to you. So when looking at the Coral Paisley, there were 6 quints that I think were similar enough to include in today's video. And I've already swatched them out for you guys. We'll go through them one by one. Okay, this right here is the new Coral Paisley. These are the 5 shades. And you can see this shade right here is the orange that I'm talking about. It's a true like orange that doesn't really exist in any of the other quints. There are orange leaning shades, but this particular orange, and as bright as it is, doesn't really exist by itself. There's one that comes close, but it's a different finish. Again, this is the velvet finish, so you're gonna have a different look. Now this one here, along the top, is what I referred to as a Bayardere. But my understanding is now, and I've mentioned this in videos and on Instagram, is that that is Riviera, because Dior messed up in the original labeling. And I've checked with some other people. There are people who have it reversed just like I do. They're not people who necessarily did have a channel, but they ordered and yeah, theirs is reversed. And then there's others who ordered later. The labels are correct. So my understanding is now this, which I called Bayardere, is Riviera. So that's Riviera. That's Coral Paisley. You can see there's some similarities in the color story. Kind of a warm with a little bit of peachiness and brown and a little bit of gold. But that orange shade, that true orange, is not in there. Then we have, this one is Dune. Dune is the one that came out with Mirage last year. It's that different formula that was supposed to be like a more ethereal, what was the word that they used? I can't even remember, but it was like supposed to be shimmery and summery. So that was the summer from last year. The summer from last year was Mirage and Dune. This year it's Riviera and Bayardere. But it's a very shimmery look on the hand, and when you put it on your hand and you swatch it, it's actually pretty. On the eye, I don't think it looks as great. I think the colors tend to blend into one another. But you can see that the shimmers and the shades are similar to the Coral Paisley and the Riviera. Then here we have Tribal and Poncho. Tribal and Poncho are almost identical, and in the US, I don't believe we got Tribal. I think we only got Poncho, or maybe it's reversed, but we didn't get both of them. I ended up being able to get both, but they're almost identical. The difference really is that the first 2 shades, if you look at Poncho, which is this one, the first 2 shades are much more of like a shimmer and a topper, and this shade is more cool, Whereas in Tribal, the first shade is very orange and does mimic the orange in the Coral Paisley, but it's a shimmer shade. And then you've got this shimmer shade next to it that's a cooler shade and is more of a shimmer than a topper like it is in Poncho. So, but otherwise they are the same and they look very similar on the eye. I've done a video where I compared one on one eye and one on the other. It's almost identical. And then the last row we have Riviera, which is now my understanding this is Bayardere. So that's a Riviera. And this, believe it or not, is Pink Glow. Pink Glow does not look pink. Pink Glow looks more peachy coral than it does pink. But anyway, so this is Pink Glow. This is Bayardere. This is Poncho. This is Tribal. This is Dune. This is Riviera. And here's the new one, Coral Paisley. And I'll just rotate my arm slowly. But like I said, these are all similar quints. I think you'll notice in the other quints, though, there's always like a sort of a deeper brown. And then in the Coral Paisley, this brown is there, but it's not really as deep. I think it mimics the one in Riviera a little bit more because it's like a cooler brown almost, like a burgundy brown. And it's not like this deeper grayish brown or blackish brown. It has more of a red in it. So I'd say the coral does mimic the Riviera in tone and in color and in hue. But again, it's that velvet finish. So if you like the Riviera, which I have been referring to as the Bayardere, I think you're going to like the coral. But we'll try it out on the eye. The Tribal, I think, is also similar but deeper, has less of the orange. I'd say the closest is probably Riviera, what I've been calling Bayardere. Okay, we're gonna do an eye look with the Coral Paisley and see how it looks on the eye. Okay, let's dig into the coral look. Let me grab some brushes. How is everyone? How's everyone doing? I'm trying to pre-record things before my trip. See how well that goes. Hopefully there won't be interruptions the week I'm gone, but if there is, there is. Yeah, what can you do? All right, let's start with the shade right here. Use that kind of as a blown out transition. I think I'm gonna get enough recorded, but I don't know. The thing that I was working on for work that has taken me months to accomplish and basically an hour to do, what's, you know, one of those things, right, when you actually get to it, is done. So I do feel better, but I have about a week before I leave for my trip when I'm recording this. And I haven't packed. I have no idea what I'm bringing. No clue. No idea what I'm going to bring. I'm going to use the middle shade. Yeah, I don't know. Where I'm going, it's going to be probably in the 70s during the day. Definitely cooler than that at night. Possibly rainy. Don't worry, I'll have lots of pictures, hopefully, to share, and maybe I'll do like a vlog, and I'll share stuff on Instagram during my trip if I can. I just don't know if my phone is gonna work. I mean, it should. I have an international, like, no limit data, all that good stuff, but you know, when you travel overseas, I haven't traveled outside the US in 2 years, for obvious reasons, so I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see. We will see. But hopefully I'll be able to share some stuff with you. All right, so we used these two shades here. I'm gonna use the white shade up in the brow area. And, you know, just because they say these are velvets, they are. The finish is velvet, but some are more shimmery than other shades. So this white shade has a little bit of shimmer to it. I think you can see that. It's not shimmery, but it's, you know, it has more of a shimmer than, say, the middle shade, which is just like it looks like more of a true matte. Each quint has that. Like there's one shade that has a little more shimmer than the others. None of them would be considered true shimmers. None of them would be considered toppers. None of them have glitter or anything like that. But they all have this velvety finish to them, but some have a little bit more shimmer than others. So that is 3 of the shades, these 3 shades. So one of the things about the Dior quints, they always tell you, like, if you want a lighter look, use these 3 shades. If you want a deeper look, use these 3 shades. So that's actually kind of the purpose of these quints. If you want something that like is contrasting, use these 3 shades. If you want to keep it all sort of monochrome, use these 3 shades. That's how it's designed. The middle shade is supposed to be able to go with any of the shades on the outside, and you can use them as a trio depending on what kind of look you want. Just a little tip about how the Dior quints are designed. So it's supposed to be done in a way so that you can do different looks with it. If you want to do a cooler look, a lighter look, a deeper look, etc. And then if you're doing what I'm doing is to show you all the shades, you can get creative. So we're gonna take the deepest shade. Like I said, this shade is a very cool brown, and it's not even really a brown. It's almost like a plummy color when you swatch it. Now, if you put it on over the orange, it's just gonna look, it's gonna go a little bit warmer, but you get my point. It's not a deep brown as you saw it swatched on my arm. It's certainly not as deep as many of the other quints that have a similar color story. I have to say, you know, although there are similarities for the Nude Dentelle and there are similarities for the Coral and there are similarities for the red tartan, there aren't as many similarities for the Rose Mutabilis, and there aren't as many similarities for the Blue Velvet. Those 2, I didn't find too many that are similar to them. But even though there are similarities and quints that, you know, have a similar color story, I don't think it's exactly the same. I just think there's some similar color stories like I showed you. But I think they are all unique. I think Dior actually did a good job with that in these velvets. I think they're unique enough that they stand out from others. So we're gonna take the orange shade, because I feel like that's the most unique shade in here, and put that on the eyelid. And I'm kind of pouncing it a little bit, like placing it on the eye instead of brushing it in, because I want to keep the intensity of it. If you kind of pounce it into your eye, place it on your eye, press it into your eye, you're going to get more of the pigment than if you sweep back and forth. Then I'm going to take this shade. It's like a peachy shade that we started with. Put that in the innermost corner. It is also more shimmery, like the whiter shade. Again, it has a velvet texture, but it's got a little more shimmer to it. Then I'm going to take a fluffy brush and blend. There we go. Let's take a little bit of that lightest shade, that one that has a little more shimmer, and let's just place that like kind of right in the middle here, just to lighten up the eye a little bit. Just kind of putting it on the center. Yeah, I like that. It's a very pretty look. It does have, like, when I think of coral, I often think of a little bit pinker than this. This one seems a little bit more orange, but I think it's because of this shade in here. Before you put that shade in, I think it leans a little less orange. You put that orange shade in and it kind of goes, you know, warmer. That shade can overwhelm the look if you use a lot of it. We're gonna take the deepest shade and use that as liner. It's a very pretty look. It does look coral. Once you mix the shades and kind of blend it out, you do get what I would consider a coral look. I just think that orange can be a little overwhelming if you don't tone it down a little bit. Okay, let me put on some mascara and we'll come back and do final thoughts. Back with mascara. look always looks better with mascara. I have to say, this is a really pretty quint. I think the warm gold orange look is very pretty. I don't think it's as outstanding maybe as the blue velvet. The Nude Dentelle I like more. I think it has more options. If you look at the Nude Dentelle video that I did, you can see it can do a very cool look or extremely warm. I think this one you could do a cool look with it. If you really focused on these 3 shades, just these 3, I think you could get a similar look like I did with Nude Dentelle. And then you could do these 3 to get a very warm orangey look. It doesn't look that different from the Nude Dentelle, so I think there are similarities there. I think I like the Nude Dentelle a little bit more, just because I feel like the orange in here is sort of the outstanding color, and I like a burnt umber kind of shade. The orange, I'm not as fond of. I think it looks nice. I do. I think it looks pretty. And orange and blue, so blue eyes, orange shade, they are contrasting colors, so it is striking. But if I had to rank at the moment, my favorite quints, and I haven't done all the videos yet, but I'd say Blue Velvet, Nude Dentelle, Coral, Red Tartan, and then Rosa Mutabilis. At the end, when all the videos have gone up, I'll make us a definite statement, but I think that's the way that it's gonna go. I've tried them all, I just haven't done videos of all of them yet. So yeah, I think it's very pretty. The finish is beautiful. Like all of the velvets, I think they did a really good job. I think the color story is nice, but it's definitely an orangey color story, coral orangey. So if you don't like that color story, I don't think this is gonna be the one for you. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon.